what types of websites are king most in 2025? Like,
I can tell that the biggest context or the biggest factor there is function. If it has only a text and image but nothing else besides a sponsored link as an affiliate, it will be very harder for you to actually rank that site. In 2025 and beyond, if you are just a website, you won't be able to be, let's say, permanent in the SERP. Maybe with link velocity, maybe with expired domain redirections, or maybe for, let's say, different languages and alphabets, you can come to the SERP and enjoy the sunny day today, but tomorrow the SERP can be again changing. And when it comes to the rules, usually principles and fundamentals are same. But these algorithms, the search algorithms, they mainly work with thresholds. In Google site, you might need to have a higher page rank threshold. In Microsoft Bing, usually you are able to rank faster. Google was the leader of the industry, and not because of their search engine. Google was and is still leader of the industry because they have technically Google Chrome, Drive, they have Google YouTube, and they have many other products that actually complete all of them. Human involvement in your design, in your CMS, in your content became really important. Even staying away of the AI signatures like the phrase enhance that are coming from language models, since it is trained on really good amount of old books that is written in the last 5 centuries.
AI being so much relevant these days, where it is heading actually.
But I can tell that AI is part of our lives. If you use AI excessively, I believe everyone will be AI detector. There is also a research that says human detect AI content better than AI.
What SEO business models you see most profitable?
In my opinion,
so again, welcome man to our show. Without wasting much time, I'll just strictly dive into our questions. The first question being, what types of websites are working most in 2025? Like, most SEO growth is in which section? Is it in blogs? Is it in affiliate sites? Is it in e-commerce? Or is it in SaaS? What do you feel is working best right now in SEO?
so I believe this question is very closely related to the helpful content update, because since it happened, SEO started to change judgment, perception, and their ideas about the SEO. And as always, in the last, let's say, 20 years, one more time, people started to say that SEO is dead, despite it's not one more time. So when it comes to the type of the site, most of the time what Google does is they are usually checking the type of the site, categorizing the websites according to the types of actions you can perform on them. And if you are actually meeting with the category parameters, then they start actually ranking the site. We see this in the Google API leak as the category params directly. And we also see this in their patents too. So when it comes to the latest working parameters for ranking a website, I can tell that the biggest context or the biggest factor there is function. If your website doesn't have any function, if it is no different than the wall behind me, if it has only a text and image but nothing else besides a sponsored link as an affiliate, it will be very harder for you to actually rank that site. If you are a calculator, if you are a converter, let's say, I have seen that, for instance, since the helpful content update happened, just check the currency conversion industry. You will see that in the old time, many converters were actually ranking fine. But then they are all replaced by the neobanks, because in neobanks, like, I don't want to promote any brand, but if I give an example like Mercury, Wise, XE, etc., they are not able to just actually convert. They are able to also send money, invest money, and also you are able to directly convert it, not just for calculating. You actually convert it by giving all your data. So if you have more functions to be able to ranking there, it will be the main focus, I can say. When it comes to affiliate, still you can rank with the affiliate size. Definitely, I see examples, and we also manage some. But most of the time in these affiliate websites too, for instance, one method, let's say your homepage is ranking for Tampa, Florida, Tampa photography studio, and your homepage is like a local business, and you also have a Google profile. But the site is about actually best camera or best camera lenses. You are able to actually create a local business context, and you can also have a local business around it with a partner directly. the website can actually keep
Got
doing affiliate as well. If you are a real world entity as a business, if people search for your brand, if you have a brand search demand, I am saying it is like since 2021. If people are not searching for your brand name in Google, it means you are expendable. They can replace you very easily. But if you have a search, usually this is what we call as the navigational queries. If you have navigational queries for your brand, with especially some generic terms, it will making you more authoritative in the SERP and you'll be sticky there. But the most important thing here is having a function as much as possible. The last thing is the forum context. Whenever Google is publishing a new structured data, for instance, like 2.5 years ago, everyone was actually hyping around this Google's, let's say, Google's word like EAT. And everyone was actually focusing on putting author biographies or author information, etc. It was the moment that actually Google started to show authors like websites. Do you remember these three dots in the SERP? And you go to a snippet, you three dots, it shows about the source panel. It came around that time. And sometimes they are not showing the website. They were showing the author in that part. Let's say you are an author in Forbes. When you click to that panel, they show the information for author, not for the brand or not for the website. It was also a moment that they started to optimize their author structured data. Today, we have seen another form of that. They actually announced the forum structured data. Then we have seen a really great improvement for the forum rankings. There are two main reasons for that. One is Google is trying to actually eliminate the AI sites mainly, because today creating, let's say, enough level of quality and relevant content is not that hard. So because of that, they prefer actually people write for people based on experience related questions. And the moment that they published structured data for forums, they also created discussions and forums SERP feature, and they directly to increase the websites that have a forum. That's one of the reasons that many SaaS websites actually were able to save themselves easily, because they all have a support section, or they have a subreddit, or they have a forum. And that's why I'm suggesting that if your website is affected by also HCU, if you couldn't recover until to the 15 August of 2024, after that date, try to add some e-commerce context, like selling some ebooks, courses, or try to sell even magazine subscriptions. If you are not able to create a product by doing drop shopping even, try to create these type of contexts, have a login system, have a newsletter, and try to have a forum subdomain so that actually you can add extra functions to the site. Without a function, you are not needed in the SERP. That's why I can say that in 2025 and beyond, mainly you will see that businesses with a function will be ranking. But if you are just a website, you won't be able to be, let's say, permanent in the SERP. Maybe with link velocity, maybe with expired domain redirections, or maybe for, let's say, different languages and alphabets, you can come to the SERP and enjoy the sunny day today, but tomorrow the SERP can be again changing for your situation. There are some different industries, of course. In casino industry, you can see that
my
affiliates
next
are actually
question
still thriving
was
and
this only,
surviving.
sites like casino.guru, casino.org. I don't think, I guess they have a forum, but they don't have a, any function based. They are only promoting affiliate links, and very aggressively they are promoting. So my next question was this only, that how come, these types of sites are still able to be so relevant, and, for any possible casino that we work on, we see these websites.
There are three different reasons for that. First of all, the domains in this case, they are exact match domains directly with the phrase casino. The moment that actually your domain or the brand name is relevant to the queries for the entity that you target, it creates actually what I call natural relevance. In my Chiang Mai SEO speech, I explained this because many of my case studies actually are either partial match domain or either exact match domain. Even my company site, Holistic SEO, is an exact match. So when it comes to the, for example, last case study in my YouTube channel, I also published in Chiang Mai too, I mentioned it, transcriptor.com. We reach out to the 5 million clicks amount, and right now it is getting like over 200,000 clicks a day when I checked it last time. I published in the YouTube channel, people can check. We are working like 3 years. In that company too, the name has just one letter difference, transcriptor with K, not with C. And it is also sometimes exact match domain, because in English it is with C, but in Danish it is with K. So I have a partial match domain for English, but I have also exact match domain for other languages. The casino.org and casino.com, they are directly EMDs. So in this case, they have a kind of navigational query advantage, because when you search for the phrase casino, Google is not certain. Either you search for casino.org, casino.com, or you just search for the definition of casino, or if you are looking for a casino around you, or if you are looking for actually online casino to play in. The moment that query has multiple contexts and meanings, the moment that search engine actually has to interpret query with multiple meanings, EMDs will be gaining an authority there. The second reason is that the historical data, because these websites probably they are older than 10 years. They have really long-term history and click data especially. Pandu Nayak from Google, he is called as the chief of ranking. In his DOG leak files, he directly says that if your website or web page has a click, they remember that click for the 13 months for evaluating your site. The moment that you have the click, they are able to run expensive algorithms like RankBrain for your site. So the moment that casino.org already is processed end-to-end for many years with positive ranking signals. The third thing is that along with exact match domain situation and along with also the user signals and query interpretation, one more advantage that they have is this is actually about, again, the type of the site one more time, because we see something like category constraint in the API leak, DOG leak, and also the patents. It doesn't mean that they won't be ranking any affiliate or aggregator. Mainly, they would be ranking they would like to rank actual service provider. That is usually their choice. But from the user's perspective, many times people who search for the phrase casino, in their second search, review, either they search for the type of game, they search also for reviews too, that's true. But most of the time, they are not searching for an explicit brand name. Either they search for best casino or casino review, or they search for the brand name, like bonus is it legit, code, does it pay, or this. Yes, and also the bonus or demo account, etc. So the moment that they search review-related attributes to understand the experience around it and expert opinion around it, these affiliates gains an advantage, because brand term queries, they are looking for opinions about the company. They are not looking for clicking that company. So the queries that they are ranking for has advantage. And the casino clients, they are not loyal. They are chasing bonuses always. They are chasing the account.
And again, CTR
which means that the brands
game and stuff, because
yeah, there are many other things there too. So they have this advantage. And the fifth thing there is, I can say, in their pages, this casino.org or casino.com, they are creating engagement in a really good way. It's not like text over text over text, or it's not like text image like 2018 type of blog sites. They have really good level of filters there. They have really good level of, let's say, distribution of content and the context in an engageable way. You can compare slot games to each other. And they also have play game option. You can play demo of the games on their site. So they become actually a gameplay site. They are also a comparison sites with SaaS-like features. And they are able to also rank for the opinionated queries thanks to the exact match domain advantage and the query interpretation too. One more thing that I can say there, the casino industry is adult or sensitive niche. Usually you won't see AI overuse there. Usually you won't see that Google is trying to
steal traffic.
Let's say
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the paid ads usually are not working for most of it. So it is a kind of a niche. Imagine that you are Google and you are not able to make money from ads in an industry. So it's an industry that they wouldn't actually pay attention that much, because in that industry, I can't make money and I have to keep people safe. So it is like a burden rather than a problem. for them. In this type of cases, I can say that they will be less sensitive about, let's say, the spam or the quality, because even if they create the most quality SERP for the casino, there is not that much ads around. They are not able to make that much money from it. So monetary reward there is not that high,
Yeah.
I can say.
Because again, even in advertising, they don't allow you to run ads randomly. You have to do a lot of cloaking, a lot of warming and farming, and a lot of stuff goes into it. So it's not easy.
Yeah, lots of hacked
Yes.
universities, they are ranking there today, lots of expired domains, and the SERPs are always
Yes.
changing, and for every language. If you go to casino niche in Kenya or in Japan or in Thailand as well, you will see that every day there is a new site coming and
Yes.
going there, and assigning search engine engineers there. I mean, if you are not making money from it, why shall you do
Yes.
that? And they won't stop. They will keep buying expired domains or other type of things, and they will keep invading there. And if I would be Google search relations teams, I wouldn't deep dive into these topics, because it will affect my white hat side of the industry as well. They will recognize these things way faster, which will be making harder to control the general mainstream media in the
So
industry.
you are saying that sort of working in these niches are good as well, because again, Google is not really bothered on how to manipulate the SERP or to control the SERP like it does in, like, let's suppose, finance or any other possible niches.
Yeah, but even if they are concerned, what can
Yes.
they do? Like the moment that actually, I remember even the site name, I can say it right now, the childcenter.org, I guess it was. I mean, it was literally a child center for protecting the children. Next day, it became a casino site. And it was ranking really fine until algorithm actually catches you. So when it happens, if you are creating an algorithm, you can't filter these domains in one day. It will take time, but until you filter that down, we will
Yeah.
make money from it anyway. So
And casino niche is all about
it's not possible.
getting new customers, and you have rev share deals. Just it just goes on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And moving on, I fully agree to your point wherein you're saying that EMD domains works well. In our case as well, we find that ranking an EMD is so much easy, especially on brand terms. A lot of brands, you can make a replica of that brand and you can really easily rank it. There are some brands who make sure that they take down your domain by complaining to the registrar and stuff, but still a lot of brands are least bothered about doing the same thing. And in some cases, I have also seen and tried myself, you rank higher than the actual brand because they are also constantly switching so many domains.
That will work in that case. If they are keep actually changing the URL, since you are indexed for a longer duration of time with permanency, yes, you can actually outrank them, especially during the redirection. The second thing is that I have seen cases that the moment that actually you are able to put your site, like official site in Wikipedia, they change actually their perception about your site, and it ranks higher too. Let's say there is a brand and there is a Wikipedia page for it. You go to Wikipedia and you edit official site section. If you are able to make your site look like the official one, they are changing the knowledge graph and they are putting your site into the knowledge panel, and it also increases the rankings in regular results. So that's why fighting against for these things is not that easy. You can't control Wikipedia every day by keep paying to the
Yeah.
editors. So it's not that easy.
Yeah. And even if you cannot pay, you can just even do manually, so many times, just trick that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're also in the non-English industries, it gets easier. For example, for Wikipedia too, English Wikipedia is very hard, very regulated. But how about the Dutch Wikipedia or Spanish or Norwegian Wikipedia? It's way easier. They don't have that much editors to check us. So it gets easier
Dutch
in that
is
case.
definitely, I believe, a really untapped market. Dutch, the volume is definitely less, but the quality of players and the competition is like really low. I don't understand sometimes
Yeah.
why people are rushing so much
Especially,
on English.
yeah, especially Scandinavia.
Sorry, yeah, go on. Go on, go on.
That's true. No, that's okay. I mean that in Scandinavia, even if population is lower, the amount of money that they play and duration that they play is way higher averagely from high population countries. The Scandinavia, like Finland, Norway, Denmark, or Sweden, these countries are really lucrative in
Yeah.
iGaming.
We tried Netherlands recently, and we saw really good results in Netherlands. And what about Bing? Usually, I have seen a trend whenever we talk about SEO, we start with Google and we finish at Google. But in the past 3-4 months, I'm focusing really on Bing, and I'm able to see, firstly, Bing right now is 2016, 2017 of Google, right? Whatever used to work on Google in 2016, 17, because I'm also doing SEO for more than 6-7 years. So what techniques used to work in Google back then still works on Bing flawlessly. But why don't SEOs or people focus much on Bing? Like, what's the problem? And why usually in SEO Bing is not talked much about?
For example, in the Bing, we also see higher conversion value, I can say. I don't know why, but maybe richer people use that. But technically, the SEOs mainly are just following the SEO tools. For instance, what tool would you use for tracking your rankings in Bing?
Yeah, that's
None of the
that's
main
yeah. That's messed up.
none of the mainstream SEO tools don't show it. That's why actually Bing Webmaster Tools is better than Search Console, because they know that SEO tools are not working for Bing, and they made their own actually Search Console for SEO. You can even check backlinks of your competitor and
Yes.
compare them to each other.
Yes.
Microsoft Bing, it's a great. You can crawl your site, or I am not even talking about index now there. But the main thing, when it comes to the ranking point of view, both of them are technically semantic and hybrid search engines. Google has the knowledge graph, Bing has Satori. Satori is the name of their own knowledge graph, which is also launched like just after Google, like 2013, I believe. Satori means understanding in Japanese, and they have chosen that name because the person who behind that design was, I believe, Japanese too. And when it comes to the rules, usually principles and fundamentals are same. But these algorithms, the search algorithms, they mainly work with thresholds. For example, in Google site, you might need to have a higher page rank threshold to be considered as a serious candidate for ranking purposes. Or if you don't have high page rank, you might need to be ranking successfully for longer duration of time to be considered as a candidate for a featured snippet, or people also ask question, or image packs or local packs. In Microsoft Bing, usually you are able to rank faster because they don't have that much of a high level of threshold. There are two reasons for this. One is lack of data. The reason that Bing doesn't work good as much as Google is the lack of data, because it's not about quality of the algorithm. The most quality algorithm, even if you don't have data, algorithm won't be functioning.
Yes.
You always need more data. The second part is the Microsoft Bing, technically. Besides the data issue, it is about the size of the index. Probably Microsoft index size, maybe it is like smaller than 20 times actually Google's index size. If you have a smaller index, the threshold actually will be going lower, either for duration amount of time, either for relevance, either for page rank, or either for popularity. Let's say in Google, you need high level of brand search demand. You wouldn't need the same in actually Microsoft Bing. That's why freshness becomes way much more important. Let's say you are in the fourth page. If you update the date on the structured data, last mode, and also on the page, let's say by changing some sections, maybe you can come to the second page in Google. But in the Microsoft Bing, you can get even feature snippets, or people also ask, and they have very different other SERP features. People even don't follow that much, but you can also get appearance on that angle too. But I didn't see a case that you are optimizing for Google, and at the result of that, you lose rankings on Bing.
Agree.
I didn't encounter such a situation. Usually they are going in a correlative way. When you rank higher for one, you also rank for another one. But since in the Bing, not every industry is that popular, you might not be increasing your rankings, or sorry, clicks, even if you rank better that much, because it's a kind of empty mall sometimes. Even if your store is at the entrance, there is not that much walking people there, and it wouldn't get that much attraction. But I can tell that Microsoft Bing, it is increasing its actually, let's say, market share, and Google has to sell right now Chrome and basic Chrome browser and some other products. In my opinion, Google was the leader of the industry because they're not because of their search engine. Google was and is still leader of the industry because they have technically Google Chrome. They have Drive, they have Google YouTube, and they have many other products that actually complete all of them, like Google Calendar or Google Notes.
And the entire ecosystem.
Yes, it is called actually ambience optimization. They optimize the ambience around you. Microsoft Bing was really late to do this. Yahoo Mail is not that good, in my opinion, and their Drive is not that good. Microsoft Teams, personally, I hate it. I even could tell that I'm allergic to Microsoft products mostly. But lately, I can tell that since there is a monopoly lawsuit against Google, Bing can catch actually an opportunity there, thanks to their own browser or other products that they can use.
Okay, got it. Like you have already answered this, but if it's a question. Is brand or topical authority more powerful, in ranking competitive keywords?
When you say more important compared to the previous timeline or compared to another factor, which one do you mean?
Current timelines.
So it has to be. That's one of the things. I mean, when you look at the search engine's angle, or if we take a kind of timeline from 2015 to the 2025, let's examine the last 10 years slightly. Until 2015, until we see the announcement of the bird, let's say, and also before the bird too, let's say 2018, when they actually announced the Transformers in NLP. In that 3 years, I can say that actually most of the spammy tactics and most of the page rank related factors, they were working awesome. The moment that they focused on the knowledge graph and understanding search engine and triples or semantic improvements, let's say entities started to become more important, but still they were not understanding your content. In the first one, they look at the links and they look at the, let's say, query phrases in the document, and they try to guess the quality and relevance. The moment that they have the entities, they try to recognize the entity, but also they still don't understand the sentence. They say that like a blind librarian, this entity is here, this entity is here, and this entity is here, and it creates a relevance. This happened around 2019. Like in the next 2 years, they started to understand predicates and sentiments around the entities and around the internal links. Then it actually added one more semantic layer to their algorithm. For instance, before the 2022, if you have a scandal and if many of these news websites are linking you because of this scandal, even if the news about you are negative, you increase in the rankings because people search for you. Everyone is linking you, so you should be happy for the scandal. And we had these issues or this blessing in the past, but after the 2022, they even started to understand humor. Around that timeline, we have seen that just because you have some non-inclusive phrases or bad words, some documents, they were being filtered down. Usually, when they have a new algorithm, they give so much weight on that so that they can actually see the result changes accordingly. Then they try to fine-tune or configure that. In the later cases, we started to have the brand as a more important component there because creation of the content started to be actually easier. The second thing is that many people, anyone with a proper budget or good amount of time, can actually manipulate a link graph. You can keep getting links all the time. But making people search for your name is requiring actually building something real. So the moment that they actually search you and the moment that you diversify your traffic, we also have seen it in the Yandex leak. They were checking how many different sources of traffic you have. The moment that you have more traffic sources in a diversified way, and the moment that they search for your brand name, and if you are ranking for a really long duration of time, it makes you durable and also a trustworthy source against, let's say,
a normal website that does not have
anonymous websites, let's say, built like last week. During that timeline, we also have seen a situation. Actually, I presented a speech about it in Charles Float's a private webinar. I explained what type of factors they focused since the last 10 years, and momentum became really important on area. Even when I announced the topical authority formula as topical authority equal to the topical coverage multiplied with historical data, I was also telling that if you cover these topics faster by publishing more, you will be recognized by Google faster. That's why we were publishing like 80 documents a day with human writers sometimes. Because the moment that you increase your coverage speed, you were also ranking higher. But then we have seen programmatic cases. AI came into the window. Then they started to change quality rated guidelines. They added human effort to the quality rated guideline. And they say that even if human effort makes a page less relevant, it makes it more quality. They are very sensitive about human involvement in the content. Maybe you remember Google Notes.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
They were allowing users to add their notes in an indexable way for the ranking document.
They still
They
do, I
wanted to.
guess, in a lot of, I guess, if not
It
notes, they
was
still ask if this was helpful or not.
Yeah, that's different than the notes, but they might be asking. It is actually called implicit or explicit user feedback.
Mm.
There is a patent, you can check it actually, evaluating the implicit user feedback for page quality. They are able to understand either you like a page or not based on your type of metrics. They have different click models for different industries to understand either you are satisfied or not. For currency industry, for instance, 5 seconds of click is good. They don't need to stay 1 minute on your page. If they stay 1 minute, it is bad. But for, let's say, health industry, it should be longer than, let's assume, 1 minute in this case. So sometimes longer clicks it means satisfaction. Sometimes short clicks means actual satisfaction. And in a similar way, for the Google Notes and also for all these angles, the moment that we have programmatic ways, human involvement in your design, in your CMS, in your content became really important. Having unique n-grams, unique phrases, and even staying away of the AI signatures like the phrase enhance, or ending every paragraph by saying overall, or by using the other words like foster, for example. These are directly AI signatures that are coming from language models, since it is trained on really good amount of old books that is written in the last 5 centuries. Their English is different than the regular people on the street. They're able to understand these things based on statistical semantics after a point. And the moment that you have the programmatic ways, you're able to publish 2,000 documents a day. So momentum, they focused. It was better. If you publish faster, it was better. In my Saigon speech, I have shown my first AI projects. We have reached out to even 60 million clicks a month. I have shown the graphics on the stage. In one day, they all got manual penalty. Because after we exploit the momentum, they move to the next factor. And today's factor is quality and also originality mainly. If your content is especially original, and if you are able to add multiple angles, I call it safe answer usually. If you're able to give the angle of the customer, user, researcher, product producer, or manufacturer, or consumer, if you're able to include more angles directly with their experiences, you can actually catch the same entity and same attribute with different sentence structures in a better way. If you look at the websites that are recovered from HCU by starting with the 15 August of the 2024, you will see the sentence of I tested a lot of places with unique visuals. Yeah. There is even a proper section or trick, I can say. Google is very conservative when it comes to the indexing images. They don't actually index most of the images in Amazon. What you can do is you can go to the Amazon for a product. You can go to the bottom of the page. You can get 200 pages of reviews and maybe 2,000 images for a product. Since Google doesn't index these text or these images, they become unique. By using AI and automation, and by using some certain type of sentence structures, like I tested, you can actually rank for still affiliate context in a really good way. And there are websites that are actually using these methods already. Google thinks that these
exactly. Yeah. Using
unique.
real photos.
Yes. And in this case, when it comes to your question, the brand search demand and topical authority becomes very much more important than before, because you are able to directly prove your business model, business value to the search engine. You are being searched. You are also relevant. You are covering all the topics. And it's not just that covering the topic by putting entity there. It is about having the proper centerpiece annotation with a proper design and layout. It is also about directly having the right action. It's not about writing their title tag, download. You also have to provide that function. If you go to the Google's spam policy page, there is a section there called misleading functionality. They're able to understand when you are actually providing this function, when you are imitating it. If you have the function, if you have the relevance and responsiveness together, you can rank actually way better. And today too, I can say, due to these, let's say, in the automated world, the manual labor became more important to prove the quality.
Correct, definitely. So again, do you think like programmatic SEO is still working in 2025?
Yeah, of course it is working. I mean, for any cases.
With the things you mentioned, that if you can add up these phrases or use these techniques, you can still successfully do programmatic SEO in a lot of
Yes,
niches.
we do it actually for e-com sites, especially because in e-com industry, most websites use duplicate product descriptions, product names, or some other parts too. They still rank because it's not about the originality of content there. It is about the brand and also overall relevance and page rank, because you are providing a function. You are touching to the real world activities. Let's say programmatically you have written or made your product descriptions better. That's good in this case because you just increase the relevance and originality, even if it is a programmatic way, because human effort can be also in the coding section. It can be in the design section or in the content section. If you design something unique, or if you design something, or if you code it in a unique way, that is still actually helpful for ranking higher too. And one more thing is, in terms of the programmatic ways, it is about actually staying in the safe range. If you publish 20,000 documents in one day, even if you rank 2 weeks later, you might be demoted. But if you distribute your publications in the human range, let's say 50 documents today, 5 documents tomorrow, another 50 next day. If you stay in the human range in a proper way, then actually you can also pass these thresholds in a safe way too. Most websites that are hit in our case, we were publishing like 5,000 pages a day. It's not humanly possible.
Got it. And how do you plan for a programmatic structure? Uh, like let's suppose if anyone wants to do it in e-commerce only, how he or she can plan a programmatic structure?
For example, in Oscar Wiley or some other CBD niche type of websites, I can maybe mention every site, like Velzo too, we did earlier. I can't say it publicly, some stuff, unfortunately, but people can check and they can understand what I mean. Most of the time for ecom context, we have like 3 sections for some of them. For instance, in Oscar Wiley, we have local stores because we are optometrist with real world stores. Then we have an e-com site. We sell products online, and there is also an educational section too. So informational section of the site, local section of the site, and e-com section of the site. We have like 3 layers there. For local SEO part, I can't keep writing unique content for every one of them. I have like 200 stores. The only difference is phone number and address and maybe the photo. But I can actually make the layout unique. I can change the images in a unique way, and I can always create unique n-grams. In one of them, I can say, let's say, find the optometrist in Canberra, Australia. In the next one, I can do something else. I am playing with some relevance games in a programmatic way, and either for 200 pages, in some cases, either it is for 1,000 location pages, I can make them unique. I can distribute internal links or page rank as it should be, and still actually I can rank for these locations. In some cases, based on the query search demand, I don't open a page for that location because there is not that much of a query for it. Then I take that location and I'm adding it to the higher hierarchy page in the location hierarchy. When it comes to the products, let's say, as long as my product is unique, it can have the same name or the very similar description as long as it has a relevance. But let's say I also did this in my meetup I published. The website name was lonja.co. I de-indexed or I no-indexed all of the product pages because we had 80,000 products and their names are very close to each other. They will be cannibalizing. So I
Cannibalizing.
100%. And none of them have a very good content either. So in this case, I removed 8,000 pages from Google's attention, and I ranked with the category pages, and I was able to publish the success case study with that. So based on your industry conditions, you can always actually make the engagement layout very unique. That's more important than even the text that you put on the page, especially today. And when it comes to the text side, you can always use different type of APIs with constraints to be able to get a kinds of output to make the content there actually more unique. That's not that much
more unique and dynamic, different than others.
That's also one thing too. For example, in flight ticket industry, and crypto industry too, we change actually every paragraph like every day because prices are changing. Programmatically, sentences stay same, but numbers in sentences they change. Whenever I change it, my document become again unique, and also it becomes also fresh. And it keeps increasing its rankings one more time. And when this freshness is merged with clicks, it also creates what we call now boost. Now boost technically is unification of page rank, popularity, and topicality. If you have all these three, you have a higher now boost, which means higher ranking as well.
I see. Okay, one more question that is really interesting. What SEO business models you see most profitable? Is it client servicing? Is it content sites? Or is it being doing affiliate marketing?
In my opinion, the e-com is best because, in my opinion, if you are a proper SEO consultant, you can solve like every problem because usually the clients that you are or you were working, they don't have the optimum conditions. Since you work with multiple different companies, you are able to examine them. In one company, you see a really great SEO, but the team is bad. The next one, team is great, but CEO is bad. In these type of cases, you understand how a business actually should be run, and you know lots of different industries. In the e-com, by buying some products from China or some materials from China, you can really make good amount of actual profit for any industry. Because when you're an affiliate, you get profit just 10% commission or 5% commission. But if you are an e-com, you can get the 60% of the profit. So the e-com in this case will be making very much more money than affiliate 100%. If you are also an e-com, I always consider every website as a media. Let's say you are an e-com site for gift industry, but you are taking 500,000 clicks amount. It's not anymore an e-com site. It is a media website. You are bringing 500,000 people every month to your site, and they are able to give them a message. In this case, you can also actually make money from display ads or barter model or different type of sponsorships. Still, you can make money. You can also make extra money out from your newsletters as well. So when you have an e-com, you eliminate affiliate because it has higher profit margin. You also eliminate content size because you're able to make from any type of ads, any type of sponsorship. The next angle is SaaS. The e-com sites, they can also have a SaaS context based on the product that they sell. They can have an for health, if it is a health product company. You can also have an app for, let's say, for even dating or something else. Let's say it's a condom e-com site, and you can have different type of side products, side communities around your company always. That's why I find e-com very central about what you try to do. If you look at the golf industry, for instance, there are many options there. You can be a golf betting site. You can be a golf club or driving. We call these what you use as a stick. We call them golf driver. You can sell golf equipment or drivers. You can also an API for giving the latest news or latest scores for golf players. You can be a golf magazine with a paid version. You can be a golf forum. You can also be, let's say, directly a golf course website. You can also be having a golf app for finding the best buddy for playing in your area. Because in United States, there are some golf clubs. You have to pay like 100K a year to just be a member because only rich people are there and you want to be there too. So when you look at all these source context, when I announced the topical authority, I created 5 main components for a functional topical authority, topical maps. One of them was source context. Which source context you choose, forum, betting, or whatever, it changes the entire map and how you target the query. In my opinion, If you have an e-com site, you can have the rest way easier because Google has to always tolerate e-com businesses. You have the main one, you are the website or the business that satisfies the most important portion of the users, and Google has to compete with Amazon. That's why they opened organic results to the Google Shopping, technically, when Prabhakar Rakavan was the vice president of the search, because they want to actually outrank the Amazon search engine as much as possible. That's why, in my perspective, e-com is the best.
And I, I have seen, like, for those who cannot, really make an e-commerce site, they can look their affiliate site look like an e-commerce.
Yeah, it was something that we were doing for tricking Google in the first cases, especially for, let's say, you want to rank for buy.
I've still seen this work in Nutra. I'm still seeing these types of sites.
In
Nutra, as in, these weight loss products, or
we have seen that if you have a SAS layout like H1 paragraph, then a button, just buy. And also a slider for showing the amount of subscribers. It wasn't ranking that good. Then actually I created a product grid and I added product structured data. I also opened a Google Merchant Center account, added the products there. I also created
schema.
Yeah, I also created a product like this, like 1,000 subscriber, 2,000, 3,000, until to like 50,000. I added every one of them like a different product, like milligrams, like kilogram. I was adding there. And the page directly actually came to the first ranking. So this is actually what I mentioned at the beginning of the interview. Like there are some certain type of category parameters. If you are e-com, they rank you higher and they understand from your layout. But when it comes to the affiliate, it will be going to the topic of misleading functionality. If you have an e-com design, but if you don't have any buy function, in this case, if you also have the word buy, without a proper login system, cart system, without a proper also, let's say, login, cart, and purchase gateway there, maybe initially they wouldn't get it directly. But if you get really good amount of traffic, they.
But still, if anybody is able to replicate that also, like, even if I put a login page and add to cart section, but at the end, when it is coming to doing payments, I'm just making them redirect.
Still that will be something that search engine eventually actually can recognize. It will just take longer time because in the
but it's possible.
It's possible, of course. But the thing is, when you have the misleading functionality in your site, until that you exceed a certain threshold, they don't check it. They just assume it is and they rank you. But if you get too much traffic, and if you get too much attention, they will check it further. Around 2021, it was even in the news. All the e-com sites in United States, they have seen millions of products in their carts left out. And eventually, it turns out it was a Google test. They were testing either your price is changing in the checkout page or not. For seeing it, they were adding the product to cart, they were going to the checkout page, they were comparing the price, and they did it for millions of sites. They do this type of tests from time to time, not always, because even one click is really costly. For example, before 2023, Googlebot was doing always one click when they render the page. Now they don't, because that cost was really fatal for them. So it will definitely work. I am saying it, but you will always need to be, let's say, chased by these algorithms, and you will need to find ways of doing it further and further.
Okay, got it. I'll just move on to other questions, and I'll leave that semantic thing aside. Right. Moving on to my next question, that is, how do you with all these AI being so much relevant these days, and people pushing so much AI content, how do you believe that the entire search thing will lead, will it where it is heading actually, and how it is affecting like publishers like me, like you, and other people around?
So from an industry to industry, of course, it is different. But when it comes to the betting industry, I don't think that AI has any type of danger there. But for the news industry, it is actually dangerous because in the industry, If I'm able to have an AI app that actually summarizes every important news to me for every 30 minutes, let's say for the book industry in this case, if I can see all the deals that companies do with each other, guess which price will be going higher already, and I can actually do that. Then I don't need to actually go into any news website directly. For news industry and news monetization, that is definitely an issue, I can say. But when it comes to the AI overviews, for instance, or different type of platforms like Microsoft Copilot or large language model results, in my opinion, we will see that people, or let me say it in this way, query or search per user in a session, it will be increasing. The average query length will be way much longer than before. In this case, since people will be doing more searches and more search sessions with longer queries, you will need way much more granular content for every context. Even today, I was training actually one of the global hosting brands and their teams. And I have given and mentioned a kind of methodology for them to rank for LLM results without decreasing rankings for the landing page. For instance, you were also in the finance industry. Let's say you want to rank for debt repayment program for veterans. Assume. When you try to rank for veteran debt repayment or debt refinancing queries, basically you create a contextual component there. The main issue is in the next 5 years, queries will be conversational and way much longer. If I ask a question like, what is the best repayment plan for a veteran who is older than 60 years old and also working for part-time, let's say, because now every search engine has an AI model, or I can go also in LLM and ask this. In this type of cases, what these systems do inside the retrieval augmentation generation, they directly will be parsing my question into the different contextual domains, like first part, best repayment plan for veteran, then best repayment plan for seniors, because I said 60 years old, then best repayment plan for part-time employees. I have 3 different contexts there. Then they will need to actually find for these things separately to get the indexes or indices for these 3. Then for the
Indices, yes.
for the combinations of these 3 again, then they will need to be eliminating the highest page rank documents, then the highest relevance documents, then they will need to go one by one every passage. Based on the co-occurrences, they will need to be getting the best passages, merge them, and recreated it. Usually, when you look at my system, people usually call it sometimes Koray News or Koray's framework. It is mainly coming from Stephen the Baker, Srinivasan Venkatari, Paul Haar, and Amit Singhal. And there are a few more names like Michael Bendersky and Mark Nayork. But especially Stephen the Baker, he invented featured snippets. He is behind search generative experience. Srinivasan Venkatari directly is behind the generative summaries or generative search summaries patent, which is the patent for AI overviews. In all these systems, you will see that you will need more granular content with more intersections, but it creates an issue. If you create so many sections in your landing page, like debt repayment plan for senior, for X, for Z, for every occupation, it will make your website and web page too long, too distracted, and non-usable for traditional results in this case. And there are ways of protecting your relevance for document ranking while also increasing your chance of ranking for LLM results. In some cases, you can put all these, let's say, you can put all these type of conditional paragraphs or conditionally relevant AI-focused components to the bottom of the page, and you can use data no snippet. Or you can also use dynamic rendering. You can show these only to the Google extended user agent, which is mainly used for actually AI-related search features. So for regular users and Googlebot, you can show traditional landing page. When it comes to AI-related Google user agents, you can show the version that is optimized for LLMs mainly. So
okay,
and data no snippet is also different. You can actually just make a function not indexable, so that actually it shall not be calculated for regular rankings. but still LLMs and AI overviews will be getting the benefit from that too. So there are different methods there. But I can tell that AI is part of our lives, and I believe people already in LinkedIn or other places, I already see that if you use AI excessively, I believe everyone will be AI detector. And in a mail right now, if somebody writes in a mail answer to you with I believe you can understand it like this right now.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
there is also a research that says human detect AI content better than AI. And based
Obviously, anytime.
Yes, and due to that, actually, there is a research and it explains that. First, they allow humans to mark every word that they think it is coming from AI in different content. Then they created an algorithm based on actually
Yeah,
human selection. So they use supervised
exactly.
learning. And that actually model gave really good results. And they were able to actually it's not like understanding whole document is AI or not. It's not also about understanding whole paragraph.
Words.
It's even not sentence, it's word by word checking algorithm. So there
Yeah.
were even blacklisted predicates there, blacklisted adjectives, blacklisted adverbs. For example, AI is using too much adverb. That's the first difference from humans, I can say. And in this,
Mm.
I would suggest people to focus on originality. Even if you use AI, just
Yeah, original.
create
Mm.
a blacklist of words and tell your system to not don't use any of them. Or first, you can create human content. Like let's say you create 50 pages with humans, you can get the statistical characters of that, and you can upload it to your AI to give similar pages as much as possible.
Yes, got it. Thanks. So to end up, if you were to start something today, what strategy or where you would have been building a profitable SEO project?
Again, I will start from the e-com. And if you want to rank
Okay.
for the e-com industry, there are a few things that actually is harder to control for ranking. One of them is your stock information. If you don't have the stocks, you can't rank. So you have to always keep it up. Even if you don't have the stock, you should be able to suggest another product by hiding your zero stock from the search engine. The second one is the pricing. Price is also affecting your rankings in the e-com. So you will need to be having a kind of price advantage. To be able to have it, you have to adjust your production line or logistics properly. So that you can also keep these two advantage always. The third one is Google Merchant Center. I will definitely go for it. And I will be using Yotpo, Okendo, or this type of review management tool. This way, I can get more reviews and I can directly submit all of my reviews automatically to the Google Shopping and Google Merchant Center. The third thing there is I will try to create more products. Overall, if your website has more products, more product type, and more category, it directly allows you to rank higher too. If you cover more topics and more products with different dimensions, size, weight, or whatever, it will again be helpful for it ranking higher. The fourth thing is I will try to definitely aim for Next.js with headless CMS, and also I will try to create a response time lower than 100 milliseconds. I wouldn't allow the search engine to crawl unnecessary things with query parameters or these type of things. I would use only self-canonical indexable URLs in my project. I would decrease the amount of the internal links per page so that actually prominence per link can go higher. I will try definitely choose an EMD or partial match domain. I will go with multi-angle so that I can actually get more profit, more orders, more brand authority and search demand and historical data. And I will definitely choose a product that I can have local context, e-com context, and informational context so that I can get the advantage one of from these things eventually. And I will try to also launch an automation for all of my social media so that actually I can rank also through the Reddit. I would definitely buy exact match subreddit. This is a concept that I created, like exact match domain. Let's say you have the Reddit golf. You have a subreddit, name is golf. It gets to 1.3 million clicks amount. Let's say you have a Reddit subreddit, its name is skincare. It gets 800,000 clicks amount just from Google. Probably they even get more inside the Reddit. So the moment that you have a kind of ranking Reddit, you will get the community naturally. The moment that you get the community, you get also a permanent, again, ranking and traffic support to your site. The moment that you get popularity, again, you'll be ranking higher too. I will definitely launch a newsletter at the beginning of my project. I will adjust all of my font size, all of my components, like what type of product grids I will be having, my footer, my header, all of my, let's say, review stars, all of the icons that I have to be using, all of the tabs I have to be using. I will be opening a Figma. I will put all of them directly there so that when I design my site in a modular way, I can change them quickly. Before creating my site, I will complete all of the topical maps. I will create all of the document. Then I will start opening my site to be indexed step by step directly. And I will be always using digital PR with authoritative links. Rather than having actually too many links from low authority sites, I will try to go with the news sources with high authority to be able to bring actually authority candidate context to my source as soon as possible. And my homepage should definitely be ranking for a valuable query phrase. If my homepage is ranking properly, I can distribute my page rank internally from header, from middle, and from the bottom of my content. At the bottom, I will be, of course, using informational context. At the middle, I will be using local context. At the top, I will be using my products for sending it. And the next is up to with your layout. You have to adjust your layout in a really good way. If the above default area, for instance, if it doesn't show the buy button, it's not good. It has to be visible there. And I will definitely be using Microsoft or Hotjar to be able to see the user engagement on the page so that I can get the constraints on the user angle. And I will be definitely covering more products, more topics, and I'll be using the media advantage. If I'm becoming a media, I would use it also for like a barter model to create more link opportunities or sales opportunities, especially with my newsletters or other angles too. E-com is usually more templated. If once you are successful for one industry, you can do the same thing with the second one. But you will need to be an expert for store management and also the shipments as well. Google even is able to track your shipments, I can say. That's why they give trusted store badges in that way. If I go with the SaaS, with SaaS, you have to have an audience. For example, I can easily launch a SaaS for SEO industry. Since I have the knowledge, I have the audience, it will be making profit next week and it can be directly valuable to sell. But if you are going for the SaaS industry, you have to understand people keep imitating their products. Even if you have the best SaaS, I can create it next week. So your product advantage doesn't matter that much there. That's why keeping up with the SaaS is not that easy. You have to have really good, awake developers, and you always have to go to the conferences. You always have to keep using influencers. Influencers also have to like you. I mean, I like my cats and staying home, so the SaaS is not for me. I can say that much. When it comes to the content sites, as I said, I turn my e-com site to media. It becomes ad sites anywhere. When it comes to affiliate, e-com makes more money than affiliate in this case. I mean, you don't have to launch a casino. Casino is a different. I'm talking about regular industries here, basically. For other contexts, like news websites, I wouldn't launch it at all. Yeah, I can say I can't keep talking to the 50 editors every day for launching more unique content, and they will resign. We will need to train one more. It's not something that you would like to do every day. I mean, there is not that much other white-hat options left. E-com will be the best option there, I can say, and this will be my overall strategy.
Okay, got it. That ends up our the episode. The episode definitely went quite long and was quite interesting. We'll definitely cover the semantic when you have time next time around. And again, thank you for joining in for today, giving your time. Hope to see you in the next one. And to my audience, thank you for joining in. And again, thank you for the time. And see you next time. Have a good day.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.